Hello.
You're listening to Critical Mass Radio. Now, it's our turn.
Aloha, Gaia Sophia Dreaming. Thank you all for tuning in. The number to call in is 347-326-9530. Give a quick shout out to Paul Giovanni and the crew at criticalmass.co.uk. If you're looking for us on Blog Talk, easiest way is Blog Talk and then put critical-mass-radio. Anywho, you find it where your heart guides you. That's the resonance that we're all tuning into. We all have this love in our hearts that guides us to where we need to be, who we are, what we need to do. And this is our true voice. And I'm happy to be tuning into it more and more. And with this, the trust just comes. It's automatic. It's that old saying, you got to trust yourself. And when you really do, trust isn't an issue anymore. It's automatic. It's the fear one. Oh, I got to trust myself here. I'm not so sure. Well, that's when we were coming from a fear based on reality. And we're no longer doing that. We might trip into it here and there now, but it doesn't have that attachment anymore. It doesn't have those charges, so to say, that create the dramas or expand the dramas instead of nipping it right in the bud where it is and recognizing all is self. This is an opportunity to share love with whoever it is you're dealing with. And like I said, most of the time it's an internal struggle that we're externally experiencing. And we need to give thanks to that experience. And there's a saying, don't take it personal. And what I want to add to this one is, don't make it the other person's problem. And this is the blaming we've been doing sometimes, where we make it, we're making it personal for the other person because we're involving him in our experience to learn a lesson, to remember a lesson. And it's great if we don't take it personal when someone says something to us. But when we realize all is self, this is very personal. They're sharing with me something that my heart is calling for, this experience to remember me. And so let's not make it personal on them in terms of blame. Why are you doing this to me? How come you got to show me this again, instead of thank you for showing me this? Thank you for giving me the opportunity to hold space in my heart, or to come to recenter myself in my heart, to flow, to really deal with this situation in its wholeness. Instead of expanding the drama, we come back to self, we recognize, and what is coming clearer and clearer is that energy that would normally expand into a drama is dissipating in the truth of love, the truth of our hearts. And I think back in the day we would call that's a miracle. And now it's, that's how things actually truly operate here on Earth. Yes. And we're remembering our feet are planted in the earth. And what I mean planted is like, am I stuck there? No, you're free now with you've established your base. Your base is established once again. You've tuned back into it. And you're not tuned into the fictional false reality that for all intents and purposes is dead. And when you enter into it in terms of thoughts, actions, we recognize that there's something missing here. And that something missing is that's not your dream. Your dream is not to go work for someone else for a paycheck. That's not the dream in your heart, and that's why, why doesn't this resonate with me? It's not the dream in your heart, that's why. And this is just beautiful for me, because this is what's being expressed now, the dreams in our hearts. This is what's coming to the surface. This is what is coming into view more and more and clearer. And to remember this experience, it can assist you to spend time. We'll spend time in nature, and we use this word "spend time." And I'm going to come up with something else here in a moment, instead of referring to money and time and nature. It's like, spend time in nature. I'm like, actually, it's quite the opposite. Because we're not spending anything. It's free when we're in nature. And when we're in nature, there's no time. And that's the beauty. You really tune into your authentic, true self. The more and more you get to be in nature. And for me, I recognize wherever I am, I'm in nature. If I'm in a city, a building, and maybe thinking, I need to get out into the nature, and maybe it's not quite possible in that moment. Well, how to, in a way, think differently is to remember everything you see has been built with the products of nature, nature's building blocks. So I'm like, even a man-made structure, it might be a man-made structure, but it's still nature's building materials. So you are surrounded by nature wherever you are. You transcend the walls, the limits, the boundaries that you self-impose around you, whether it's hard or physical structure. We would say that's, wood, metal, concrete, or a denser mental structure as old belief systems and thoughts of limiting varieties. And those are no longer holding you back either. And when we recognize this, these are ways we can, wherever we're at, take ourselves outside the box, spiritually, mentally, physically. And when we, in a way, take our minds outside that box, outside those old limiting belief systems and thoughts, boom, your mind's outside that thought. And what naturally tunes in is your heart, nature, your connection to Gaia Sophia, your connection with all. And a whole new way of thinking is here. And it's in a way transcending thought in terms of, these thoughts are in line with your feelings now. These thoughts are in tune with your heart. So in this way, it's no longer, what was I thinking? What are those thoughts? How could I think like that? Those are gone. Or, whose thoughts was that? Those are gone. There's no longer this disjunction, this disconnection. And to recognize this, do a little dance, do a little meditation, take a walk in nature. When you immerse yourself in water, whether it's a bath, a shower, a stream, a bucket, a cup of water that you can pour over yourself, just remember that intimate connection with nature, the being who loves you truly, as yourself. And you'll just tune more and more into this. This is love. This isn't thoughts of separation. This isn't feelings of displacement. Displacement from your own self. Displacement from your own heart. And it's a lovely and beautiful thing. Lines are open. Please chime in if anyone feels to.
Aloha.
Aloha, Elvita.
Hey, hey. Uh-oh, I got feedback.
So I'll share now. I opened up my other computer where I got a lot of music on, and I had set up a lot of music to share on the show, like we were talking on Outside the Box with Kate and the Emerald Table. And I opened up my iTunes, and it has nothing on it. And I was just like, what did you do to me? And then, bring it back to me. What did I do?
I know.
It's okay.
Uh-oh.
So I got to figure that all out. Well, one of these days.
Yeah.
If necessary, it will be. Not beating myself up over these things anymore, Elvita. Oh, I forgot to take out garbage. You know,
yes.
I can take it out another day.
Exactly.
I forgot to wash the dishes. Well, give it attention to it now and clean it up.
Yeah.
The world's falling to pieces. Recognize the wholeness in your heart and see this outside.
Oh, yeah. That's so perfect, Mike. Aloha. Hi, Alvita.
Hi.
I'm out here. Hi. In a field with 19 goats, Mayor.
Aloha.
Hi. I'm playing a joke on myself right now. Oh, my God. But great to hear your voices. That made my day with the Starseed transmissions, Mike. That just resonates. It's so beautiful. The transmissions, I just really resonate with that. It's awesome. Anyway, I just wanted to jump in and tell you we have company. Lots and lots of company. all creation, and we're sending it out, and it's just so beautiful. So I'm just having some coffee, kicking back. Love hearing the voices.
Me too. I'm trying to get my coffee in too.
It's it's 4:13 here in the HD Hawaii Dreamtime, and it's dark. Moon is about quarter. I can see it right now. It's here. I'm outside on my porch in the dark. I don't have any lights on, and I think people would have a laugh if they see my setup here.
What are you doing over there?
How are we tuning in these heart transmissions? I took that computer and went outside. I took myself and went outside.
Perfect.
And brought the computer along and the computer. And I'm just so thankful. Very thankful. And so these heart transitions, she's kind of, we're having a laugh because this has been something for me. It's going on 10 years. I could have organized my whole music library. And I've yet to do it. And it's all okay. It's what I truly remember. And I used
just remember it's done somewhere in the universe.
Yes. And this is what I'm sharing. This is what I remember, Alvita. And the remembrance is, it's all in my heart. It's all in my heart. And when I used to live in Goa, and we danced, we would dance all night, in through the dawn, through the day, many, many moons, many, many days. Whew, I mean hardcore trance in the heart, and I don't mean for a week or a day or a year, many seasons, up high in the Himalayas, down in the tropics in Goa, in the jungle or the beach. And I was in the unseen university, the invisible college, and I didn't go to shaman school. No one taught me this. And when I heard people are teaching shamanism, I was like, really? You can do that? Huh? Nature is coming to your school and teaching you? Because that's who's my teacher. And everyone else, actually. What's that person selling over there? Because usually they're selling something. Oh, they're selling you how to be a shaman? They're selling you how to be awake? They're selling you how you need the next activation to save your life? How much they charging you for? You know? Didn't they just say, here, it's free, give me whatever you would like? Because that's how it should be in true spirituality. You really want to end this game? You make all your stuff on all your websites right now free, and you're like, Mike, how can you say this? Easily. Tune into Kata Gaia. Tune into Max Egan, Mark Passio. Tune into Michael Tellinger. Well, we are moving to a world without no money. That's home. Home doesn't have any money. Earth does not charge you for anything, and we do not either. How could I? You're infinite source. You contain all. That'd be pretty funny. Me going, hey, I know you have everything, but I want to sell you this and charge you for it. Even though I see it right there, you got it. Instead of going, hey, are you looking for this? It's right here inside of you. Great.
Yeah.
So,
how much better
think
does
of
that
this is an external thing I got to give you. I'm like, wake the fuck up, and I don't mean the masses that you're trying. I mean you, who are teaching, the teachers. This is who Mark Passio also gets on. He's just like, I'm not trying. You might think I'm a little hard, he's saying. But, I'm not actually trying to speak to the masses here. I'm trying to speak to the people who are going to speak to the masses, who are going to speak to so-called the rest of humanity. And I don't, if you've tuned in with me, I don't see it as that. I see them as assisting me in holding the base for me to fly as high and as deep as I could to shine lights in all possible corners of the shadow of where we separated ourselves, to say, hey, come on home. And everyone allowed me to do this. And so I'm grateful and I'm thankful. So you can say, hey, the masses are keeping me awake, or the rest of humanity is asleep. And I'm like, well, I can share with you many times they have helped me. Everyone. And it wasn't like, Mike, how did you do that? How did you do this? And I was just like, well, in all humbleness and truth, I did it with everyone. I do it with everyone. This is a shared dream. This isn't Mike's dream. This isn't even Gaia Sophia's dream. This is all of us together dreaming.
And to take attention to that word, every and all. That doesn't mean somebody trying to sell you something. They tell you, well, Mike, you got everything, but let me give you this. No, well, you stop right there. When you said every, that let me know that you're getting ready to shice me, because if I got everything, how can you still have a suggestion of trying to give me something else? And you just told me I got everything. You see what I'm saying? That's how we point out who is in our corner and who's not. Because I can't keep giving you something if I've already told you that you got it all. And that's a meaning all. Well, it's not some, not a little bit, not all. A-L-L, not some, all. So take those words and put them into use and understand that people are chasing us when they keep on trying to give us something after they done complimented us and said, ooh, you got everything. But that word but fucks up a lot of people's minds. They really don't realize. I eliminated that word years ago from my vocabulary because I've realized that whenever I said but, it neglected everything I had said prior to it. I mean, it put more emphasis on what I'm getting ready to say after but. So anything that I said before but didn't mean shit because I'm either adding to it or either I'm trying to protect or I guess I'll maybe look at the mirror, look at the other side of it. But I gave up that word, but that's a dangerous word. I didn't like it. I didn't like how it played across in speaking to people.
Mm-hmm. So what we can do, knowing this isn't just believing, this is knowing this. This is accepting this truth. We can share all. Because I know you're not limited. And I'm like, here's kind of my flavor to it. I'm not giving it to you because I think you're lacking. Now I'm giving it to you because I want to share this expression of my heart. So I want to show my appreciation, actually. And that's how we can give. It's not, I'm giving, like I said, from a sense of you're lacking something. Oh, you got it. You must have this. You need this. You poor soul. No, that game is over. Mm-hmm. And with this, we can truly start living, giving, and sharing because we're not coming from a sense of higher or lower, richer or poorer. We're coming from the base of all is self. And it is lovely. Mm-hmm. So again, lines are open. 347-326-9530. All the lines are open. There's a few others if you'd like to chime in.
Well, Mike, when you was doing all that dancing through the woods and everything, did you ever dance to a tune that said, some people say a man is made out of mud, a lot of men made out of muscle and blood, steel and stone. If my right one don't get you, then my left one will. You go 16 tons, and what do you get? Another day older and deeper in debt. St. Peter, don't you call me, 'cause I can't come. I owe my soul to the company store. You ever dance to that too?
I've heard it on the radio.
Me too. You're too young. You're too young. You're just too young.
No, Bob. I'm timeless.
You're just too young. That's all.
And what I want to say is if anyone wants to see this, what Barbara just shared with all of us, go to YouTube, check out Larkin Rose. He has a video he made that shows this.
What?
How basically once, and it's a cartoon, and it is brilliant. It's a little animation thing, and he shows how in a mindset we went from slavery to the company store and thought it was different.
Wow.
Yeah.
And it is different. It's actually worse. Now you have the illusion that you're free.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
This game just never stops, does it?
And I knew that one. When I saw it though in animation, I was just like, "That is so clear, so concise, and it's beautiful. It's got the advertising. A man comes in, tells the people why this is good for them and everything. It's brilliant piece of work. I mean, right there alone. I want to say, and however it is, 5 minutes. You want to talk about deprogramming people? Watch that. You might find it. Your ego might go. Ah.
What, Mike? What video is it? What was it?
I wanna look it up real quick.
Oh, okay. I thought I missed it. I was gonna watch it.
It's Larkin Rose, and And what it's reminding us of is this economic system, no matter the way you slice it, dice it, hide it under shelves, under the table, over the table, however many ways you want to describe this. Beads, feathers, I don't care, gold. It's a scam. It's what Mark Passio says is just outright slavery. And it's showing. It's on a shadow, on a shadow level, if we're going to look at the physical game we're playing as the shadow outside, because that's what it is. Talk about going dark and deep. And as Seven reminded us, the netherworld is right out here, strong in some places.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And you go dark and deep right out here, too. It doesn't matter which direction you go. It isn't I got to go in and tune into the dimensions this way, or out of space that way, or over down the road this way. It doesn't matter which way you think you're going. It's all in the same direction. It's right into your heart. So, so this is on another level. I was going to say deeper or higher. On a spiritual level, it's showing the slavery game we've been playing there, where you thought you gave your power away here to a false authority, and then we realized on a physical way how we did it through the name game and through, well, governments, kings and queens and whoever you're going to bow down to. And we did it on a mental level where we thought someone's better than us or I'm not worthy. And on a spiritual level, how did we do this? On a spiritual level, how are we playing this game of slavery? And some people, well, you sold your soul to the devil, or how else is this expressed that this light is shown on this? Usually in religion, salvation, we're under the guise of we need saving. That's how it's played out on a spiritual level. And this is right there again. We are, if on a spiritual level, if we think we need saving, it's an external source of authority we're doing. Something outside of me needs to come and tell me how to live or what to do, or, well, I'm not complete without them. They're what, I can't live, or whatever the expressions are surrounding this idea, this thought or belief system. And even in the good book, shares with you that it's inside of you. So when you remember that, it's like, wait, Jesus isn't coming from outside of me. And who was sharing this at the table? It was Alvito or Barbara or one of us. And it was like just quite clearly, if the kingdom of God is inside of you, all the universe, if you want to hear it this way, is contained within you, all the multiverses, all the dimensions. Well, then how could you have a savior from outside? So again, it's an eternal. And then he's got to find me somewhere inside there. Well, how is something outside of you if everything's inside of you? So right there, the whole paradigm is broken. It's just shattered.
It is. Yeah.
I was very shocked to know that people went to church out to be saved. That was never the purpose. They always taught us, well, being a child, that you were just going to church to give thanks for all that you have made it through another week of whatever life had brought you, and it was always to give thanks and, just to worship it, for the things that you haven't had accomplished. And I realized that, like the elderly people in my life was born between 1909 and 1925. So I got old news, like even when I was, we had a Bible where it was at the tomb at Easter Sunday. It was 3 Marys there when they went to see. They rolled the tomb away. You know that it was another Mary. You see, it was a Mary that washed Jesus' feet with her hair. It was a Mary that he said the first one who committed the sin, throw the first stone. Those are 2 different Marys. They weren't the same. And then there was his mother Mary. And then now I don't know which one of those 2 Marys was the 3rd Mary that was at the tomb, but I do know his mother was there. And then there was Mary Magdalene, who was Martha's sister, Martha and Lazarus' sister. You remember Martha kept on telling Jesus, tell Mary to come on in here and help me prepare this food, whereas Mary was right there as the disciple getting all the knowledge. So I always knew of 3 Marys, and then all of a sudden I started hearing everybody talking about Mary Magdalene. They threw stones at her. No, that's the wrong chick. And then they said, oh, the other Mary. You know, but I'm telling you, it was a bunch of Marys in the Bible when I first read it. When I was like, I say in 56, 58. Up to the 60s. It was a bunch of Marys up in there, but they were not all Mary Magdalene. And then it was a Mary when Jesus went over to one of the disciples' house to see his mother. You know, it was a Mary up in there. So it was a bunch of chicks in there.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning, Barbara, Alvita, Michael. Aloha. This is Amy.
Aloha.
Hi, Amy.
I'm enjoying the show, you guys, and I just wanted to share, because I guess many of you know already that I spent 31 years as a Jehovah's Witness, and there was a lot of pride as to the studying of the Bible. But what I want to say overall about it all is that, what I've learned after, getting into I got involved in religion as a child because I had a great desire and need to understand life. And so the books that were available to me were Christian books. And so therefore I had the Bible. And the Bible, I remember my grandmother beat me so bad one time because I was sweeping the back porch and there was a page from an old Bible that was in the trash. And she attacked me and she beat me so badly about sweeping that page of the Bible. And so I think that registered in my young mind. I must have been about 7 or 8 years old, and that the Bible was something so important that my grandmother would attack me like I had stolen something or something. And so what I'm going to say about that is what I've seen over the years as the elitist Jehovah's Witness that I was. Jehovah's Witnesses they have 5 meetings a week, or they did before I left. And they spend a great deal of time studying the Bible, turning it over inside out, every which way, so that when they go out from door to door, they feel as though that they can talk to people no matter what their holy book is. So what I'd like to say to us all that are within earshot today is that, if I was raised in Asia and I was a kid and my grandmother had beat me about maybe an Asian holy text, or if I had been raised in East India or in India somewhere and I were sweeping and would have been sweeping maybe the Bhagavad Gita or the Upanishads or one of those books, I would have had a high regard for that. And that is what I see more than anything, having been involved in Jehovah's Witnesses and talking to people for many, many, many years, and internationally as well. I've seen that it's another slavery. It's another enslavement to be people of the book. For as Kate says, allegorically, anagogically, if we can get those lessons out about what the Mary and the various Ruths and Marthas and the Orpas and the Naomis and the Deborahs and the Miriams and in the Christian Greek scriptures, it goes on in all the different books. What these are, I see, is another separation, another division, another thing for the ego to use against each other. Well, my God is right, and I was raised this and that and whatever. And we're going to have to get beyond all that now, because those things are the very things that have kept us separated and divided. And, you know, as a Jehovah's Witness, my son brought it to my attention. He's an adult now. And he brought it to my attention recently. He said, Mama, just think about it. Think about the names that we call the people that were so-called in charge. And one of the things he brought about was that traveling overseer that would come around. We had a district and a circuit overseer. And everybody was getting in shape. And, I mean, you know, in terms of, you know, improving their hours out in the ministry, you know, they were getting things that they had left off, because now he was coming to look in on us. And he said, Mama, who else had overseers? And I said, what do you mean? And he said, Mama, on the plantations and during slavery times, he's done a great deal of research about this, and he said, Mama, they called the person an overseer. He said, so these are separations, divisions that manage slaves and people who need to be enslaved. So that is my message, is that we keep everything, as Kate says, anagogically and allegorically, and look at what is really being said, what is being communicated behind the scripture. Also, you know, as a person who has traveled the world quite a bit, I was married to a military man, and I've walked with people, talked with people, just from every walk of life, and my spirit is wide open. I always have known that I can learn from everybody else. So when I tune in here, I tune in to learn, I tune in to grow, to share, to walk away better equipped to see life allegorically, spiritually, anagogically, because it hasn't gotten us very far, thus far, doing it with, well, you know, my book is more, I'm a Muslim, I'm a this, I'm a that, I'm a Christian, I'm a Baptist, I'm a Jehovah's Witness. You know what? We're human beings, and we are, at the end of the day, you know, if we should experience a loss of some sort, my heart is just as sad as yours. And there have been so many times when, you know, when my marriage ended, when everything that I had spent years building crumbled at my feet. It made me. It made me. I stood there, and I laid there. I couldn't get up so many times. And where were the sisters? Where were my friends? Where were my fellow Christians? Oh, I was not obedient. I had done something that had been termed to be, what does they say in the Jehovah's Witnesses? I did not have a quiet and mild spirit. And a woman has to stay in her place. And that is one of the things that I've seen that religion does. It certainly keeps a woman in her place. I walked around, you know, with a gun on my hip as a law enforcement officer. And when my husband and my marriage started to fall apart, I was scared to death. I was scared to death that if my tire or if my car went out or whatever, I didn't have a husband anymore. Why? Because my mind had been bent towards Christianity. And in Christianity, a woman needs a covering. She has to have a husband. And so I was walking around, I felt like without a covering. I didn't have my husband anymore. So I would like to invite everybody to really look into their deep intrinsic belief system and move beyond it and move into knowingness. And what was there? What saved you? You know, when this whole thing broke about, what was her name, the cook, the woman, famous woman on the television that cooked from the South. I can't remember her name right now. But, you know, when this whole racial thing broke, I remember commenting on a YouTube video to someone, a lady that I really liked her channel, and she expressed her feelings about this woman supposedly having used this, what they would term as a negative racial term. And I felt like what I commented to the woman in the video, I said, I'm going to unsubscribe from your channel. And this is why. Because I truly believe in a flood, if you're washing downstream, you don't give a damn who reaches their hand down into that ditch to pull your ass out. And so that's how we have to look at race. That's how we have to look at and separation. And I just wanted to remind everybody, if they want us to get caught up in the technicalities, you know, who are these Gideons that place these Bibles in all these hotels? I never met one. Have you? But they certainly make sure that we have these books. And we are known, I understand, as people of the book. And books are good, but, you know, someone said, and I think it was Mike, and I just heard it was and it was, shamans don't write books. And that resonated throughout me. And so that's what I wanted to share this morning is just, you know, let's be careful about these boxes. Let's be observant. Let's be aware of the racial box, the religion boxes. You know, we've been taught to worship entertainers when these people are lost. I've done enough research to see that these record label companies are old religions, and when these people go in with their earnest God-given talents, they're entrapped into the money system. They're trapped into culture creation. They're entrapped into wearing certain hairstyles, behaving, coming out sexually, all these kinds of things in order to influence the weak masses that maybe have turned away from religion so much, but their new religion is shopping. Their new religion is trying to emulate entertainers. It is a sad state that we see the world in. So I invite us all to be cognizant of how they have separated and divided and kept us from each other thus far. And it's these things like this. It's arguing, well, you know, how our particular overseers or preachers in our particular faith led us to read a scripture. After I left the Jehovah's Witnesses, I could not touch a Bible for 10 years. Why could I not touch it? Because they had bent my mind that I could only read and see what they trained me to read and see. And that's how careful we have to be with our minds. So even our grandparents, when I started studying, I found out how when they got here, whoever they were, the original people that came and disrupted, the entities that did that, the one thing that they noticed about the people, I was reading some of the logs of Columbus and one of his other people that worked with him on the boat, and they commented on when they got here to what was Turtle Island, that the people were so loving and so open and so helpful. And Columbus wrote in his own logs that the king of the people actually helped unload their boat, unload the ships, the actual king. That's the hearts that we have. That's why, you know, many people say we should have killed them when they first stepped out the boat. No, that's not who we are. That's not what we do. And we are love. And undisturbed, untampered with, this is what comes out. And we, you know, they said when Obama was inaugurated the first time, they said there was no crime in D.C. that day. That spoke to me. That spoke to me that when the people are hopeful, when they believe that there's going to be real change, where does the crime go? So it shows me they caused the problem. Then they turned around and gave us a solution to the problems that they caused. And these particular problems were what? Religion was one of them. So we have to really, really, really be careful about that because, you know, our ego jumps in so quickly with us when it comes to religion because we get defensive. Well, you know, I was raised a Catholic. Some people say, well, I was raised a Protestant, or I was raised, you know, a Taoist, or whatever you came up, whatever tradition. When we meet each other as brothers and sisters. And so those things, I don't think we need them anymore. I really think that we should really, really listen and lead with our hearts and work on allowing that ego separation devices that have been used. We need to bury those. Maybe a ceremony. A friend and I did a ceremony, and she taught me some wonderful things about how to leave things in the past. And so, anyway, that's all I wanted to share thus far. Thank you so much, Michael, Elvita, Janet, Barbara, and whoever else is listening. Thank you, and I'm listening now.
Oh, thank you so much.
Yeah.
Totally tuned in, Amy. And here's the part I want to add to this, to bring it back to self, because this is a perspective that many times, it's a little hidden in a way. It's not quite clear yet, and it's coming. And what you just shared and described is so beautiful. And when we look at religion and why it was there, how I got into it, how I, in a way, get clearer from it is, for me to learn the lesson I came into this time, I had to go through that type of programming, whether it was Roman Catholic, Buddhism, Hinduism, whatever it may be. That was the program I had to run for the experiences I need to share. When we can remember this perspective, we are no longer attached to the old one, the old paradigm, where this is the first cause I'm sharing here. This is the first cause coming from you, why you're in this. Otherwise, and what you described so clearly is, we're at effect to this. And quite clearly. And when we don't remember this part, our heart, our all is self, coming back to here, when we're in that game, we see it as a trap. We see it as the mind control program that it is. When we come back from the all is self perspective, we see it as sharing me a message to wake me up. And you would think, but Mike, it should be a message of love and beauty and truth, right? Yeah, and the funny thing along the way is that's what some religions and New Age belief systems and would have you thinking also. And then when you go, I feel like that and I think like that, and when you go into them, you realize the trap, the ego game that is being played. And then you can make it very personal in terms of, once again, giving your power over to whoever kind of set that up. Because you just externalize yourself again. You just put your, you, in a way, lost your joystick.
Yep, that's bringing it right back. That's perfect, because it's always internal. Yeah.
And so how you described it so beautifully outside and inside, and how this is coming clearer and clearer, and this is what's being shared. It's that last, in a way, reflection on this that breaks the power, the ego trip, internally and externally. It breaks the game you were projecting outside, and it shatters the game from that you thought you were externally, and this is what's coming into being, is we're going to no longer be affected by our surroundings. And how is this so? And when you're in nature, for example, you're tuned in with the earth. You're no longer at effect to her. You're with her. The rain comes. Oh, the rain caused me and now I'm wet. That's the effect. And no, that's still kind of, we're moving out of cause and effect. This is what I'm trying to share here. We're moving out of cause and effect. So, how are we moving out of cause and effect? Well, when we tune into home, we tune into the 0 point, the real now moment, present. We're not in that action-reaction mode anymore. It's all is in tuned and connected, so it's a flow. It's a dance. It's beautiful. That's nature. If we think it rains and that caused the plants to grow. I'm like, you're kind of missing the symbiotic relationship where the water and the plants were never separated. The external vision of it is, yeah, the rain fell and landed on the ground and on the plants and then got in the soil and it sucks up the moisture. That's one way to look at it. And I'm sharing you another way is when you see that as not being a separation, and they tell you it's the cycle. It's the water cycle. But even in that cycle, we're seeing a separation. It has to go up, then come down, and I'm like, no, it's continuous. It's always in that ever flow. We just don't notice that. We're missing, actually, what I'm saying, it's not that we're not seeing it. We're seeing it, but we're interpreting it from a limited perspective. And when we shine light on these other perspectives, we see that it's an everflow. That's us. And so there's no longer this disconnect. There's this flow. So in terms of how you see anything external in the world, you're no longer at effect to it. Again, this is why we say if all is self and everything is contained within you, how can you be effect to that? I can see you dancing, as I shared earlier. This is what I tuned into. This is the cosmic dance. This is Shiv Shakti. This is the oneness of creation. And it's beautiful. And now getting into our true causal nature, with the heart, anything we do from this position will never cause harm to another being. It will be in true harmony with all. And when we share from this base, this center, there's what we could say no negative effect, no harm is caused. And there, in essence, there's no longer a cause and effect, a negative and a positive, in terms of, well, let's put it this, love and fear. For me, they're not opposites. Love isn't on one pole and fear on the other. No, fear was on the end of that pole and fear was on the end of that pole. Love is all. We put down that pole. Oh, yeah, just put it down. Yes. Stop playing with that. Or tune in and stop going back and forth, and tune into the middle, or the center, the heart, and come in here. And this is what's coming clearer and clearer. So anyone else would like to chime in? Please do.
That was beautiful, Mike. Great awareness, awareness, and bringing it right back to the heart. That's so great. And that's just so reminding me of, like, that transmission came from, like, when I was, like, 20 or, like, 25 years ago of starseed transmissions that I used to get from a place called the Gatehouse, and I would just wait for those starseed transmissions, and, you know, that was, I didn't have the awareness that I have now, but it's just bringing me back that heart feeling. It's just knowing that we are the creation. We are creation, so we're responsible, and it's just such a beautiful, empowering awareness now. I love it. Thank you so much.
Yeah, because it's what Amy was sharing earlier. When you describe something like that, and it really is deep. And what you got to do, and you've heard me express this many times, where I go in and describe the old paradigm, that I'm like, okay, I got to get back home now. All right, where was I? All right.
Getting pulled
like,
back.
oh.
Yeah.
Why was I shining light on that? It was to come back. There was one part of the home where I was like, "This is how we get our way lost from home." Here, I'll show you, and then I'll describe something. I'm like, "All right, reel me back in."
Yeah, we have our own GPS system, so we can find our way back home real quick now, right?
Yeah, there you go, Alvina. Tune in.
Like,
we're getting fine-tuned, yeah.
That's right.
Yeah, I love it.
So this is what I'd like to say with everyone. Aloha, Gaia Sophia dreaming. Thank you all. I want to share that little message.
That was great.
Yeah. So I'm inviting you all. Kiss me. And thank you.
Yeah, we already did.
Oh, I love it, man. I'm so in tune, man. This is nature. This is Mother Nature. Tuned in, singing with you, sharing you. She's saying, kiss me.
Yeah.
This is when I tune into music. This is who I connect with. When you go on entheogenic journeys, believe me, if you really go on a true one, the first being you connect with is the planet, the being here, Mother Earth, Panchamama, whatever name you resonates in your heart. You connect with her. And they're like, well, Mike, how do you know this? Well, one thing is you got to tune into your heart. And when you do that, well, guess who's there? And guess who assists you tuning into your heart? She does. She just shared with you a teacher plant. Didn't come from somewhere else. Came from right out of the ground, right out of the earth. And so let's remember this. And so it doesn't matter whether you do anything. Everything we're taking is coming, everything we're receiving is coming from the earth. And coming through her. And
I'm so glad you got us on your line. The earth. Taurus, the bull.
So she's kissing your feet every time you take a step. She's kissing your feet. Mother Nature. Like a newborn baby. I still kiss my son's feet. I still kiss his feet. And this isn't bowing down worship, the old outside authority game we're playing at. Worship them. If it's not them, okay, let's worship some rock star or some rap star or some celebrity star. Yeah, some other person supposedly being the star. There's no other star to worship in the known universe. It is you. You don't worship, you love. And so when you kiss your child's feet, it's about love. It isn't now, I humbly serve you. No, I love you. I love all of you. I'll kiss the smelly, dirty feet that you supposedly have. I don't need to wash them. I accept you as you are. Yeah. Turn that one on its nose. And with this, thank you. I just reminded, I'm reclaiming the moon. I fucking just did it during the that tune Sophia Gaia was sharing with us. And I was out in the garden dancing, feet in the earth. I was under the Milky Way. And she reminded me, Mike, why are you... And I tell you, it was something George Cavazzalis said. And I went, boom, I cut off my connection to the moon. And I was just like, yep, George, I've had plenty of those experiences you talked about personally, and I also have this love affair with the moon. And I was reminded again from George and others of the 7 and the history of the moon, or her story of the moon, and how it was it came from like the sister of Earth, and they were, together co-creating life here together. There's this wisdom shared from Gaia Sophia. And, something happened, and, we hear all sorts of stories. I'm taking it back. Thank you. And no one's fucking with me. Put it that way. Because quite clearly, in my heart, it's that moment for me to love the moon again. And I'm thankful because I'm loving you. I'm looking right now. And with this love, this heart resonance, just like here, you ain't hiding on the moon either. Any aspect shadow of me, you're not hiding on the moon. So let's get this right. We're in the Milky Way galaxy, so we can say we're here in the solar system with the sun, and the sun's inside another one, the Milky Way galaxy. You know how you've seen it in some pictures and the way it's laid out. And what Seven brought on home is, and you come right back to the galactic core. Where is it? Here, center of where we are. That's the beauty of this. It's not some distant thing way out, way. What? How do you get there? How do you get there? You get there same way you want to get to the heart of this planet. Same way you get the heart of anywhere. The core is the core. You've got your connection right here in your heart.
That's
you have
because we are people of the mighty. We're people of the soul. Mighty people. Mighty people. We are people of the mighty. Mighty people of the soul. In our hearts lies all the answers. All the answers to the truth that will unfold. Earth, Wind, and Fire taught us that a few years ago, and that still remains the same. We are people of the mighty.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
So this is what I truly. You hear me sharing here. This ain't just me. Yeah, me, magnetic electric. This is me sharing here, and I joke with one of the names people call me is Mr. D. And it came to me recently. Before the mystery, there was Mr. D. That is me, magnetic electric. Welcome to the dream that we are sharing with all. And in my imagination, the way I envision and co-create, it's from love. It's with the heart. It's in tune with nature. It's in tune with natural law. And in this is beyond a power. This is a knowing. It's what is clear is you could even try and call it a force. Like we talk about forces in nature. It's more than that. This is a knowing of a truth that where you see what is, the actuality we've been getting at. The true actuality. And in that true actuality, there's no separation. There's no harm. There's no division. There's no... Well, let's talk about what there is. There is joy, happiness, love, sharing, laughter, wholeness, harmony, balance. And when you know that in this world, we all do truly live in. We're here. This ain't some other place. We all live here, right now, in this moment. The old paradigm is gone. So you don't have to think. So share with me this vision. So Mike, in
with
this
smiling
vision,
faces.
Is there any
smiling?
Money? Yeah, smiling faces. Is there any money in this picture, Mike? No. Mike, is there any countries? No. Mike, is there smiling faces, ear to ear? Eyes of smiling eyes. And I'm like, okay, and I go out in the world, and then I see something, I'm like, okay, not yet. But that's how, when I tune this in, and I'm tuning it in strong again, and now from the point of being I am, we is, I'm like, okay, actually, the way I was separating up the day of how this is shared, I was just like, yeah, man, but I'm in the middle of India before, and I'm like, but it's sunrise over there and sunset over there. I was just like, how is this getting? And now I realized, here we are, Hawaii in the scheme of things, the old scheme of things, we're at the end of the day. We are, what, it's 5:10 in the Dreamtime here, a.m. And so there's maybe everyone else is after us or whatever. And now when we take this and we turn it backwards, and remember the story of how Maui grabbed the sun from here. This is an allegory. And he made the day. He said, you're going too fast. Slow down. And what this is, the remembrance is, it starts in the heart. This is where you can look at it in different ways, whether mentally, physically, as we rotate as a planet, as the sun rises, as the day begins for all. Japan ain't the land, as they said, the land of the rising sun. This Hawaii is, because we're in the heart of the Pacific. This is where the rising sun catches first. This is where it gets cleared from, as Amy would say, in Turtle Island, or the mainland we call it here. I don't even separate the earth. It's all one landmass and water. I don't even separate the water and the land. It's all interconnected. And even in that, we're seeing another way of expression. And so as we this shared dream flows from the core, from here, in so many ways. It's showing me how this, from the base, from the core of the heart, this, wherever you are, because again, this is everywhere. But Hawaii is this center that I've tuned in with, where it shows me that, reminds me of that, you know. It reminds you of that core in your heart, which is wherever you are. So this is where we can tune everyone in. And this is kind of like, I have 2,000 miles of water all around me. This is like my tuning. I have all of this water to fine-tune the truth to share with all, and the love, and send waves of this. You want to talk about amplification now.
Well, we have to point out, Mike, that the sun is not rising. We got to get out of that. The sun is not rising. The earth is rotating. The sun, ours, is at a standstill. So the sun is not right. You're the first one. The earth is turned as the world turns, starts over there with you. But that sun is not moving herself. Himself.
Right. So
being the sun.
I always will beam my light, not always, but when I remember, I was sharing you earlier, and I'm going to start using me and the moon. When I start sharing this love energy again, I beam the light, knowing the reflections and stuff. Use these parts of our consciousness in other aspects of our being, and other beings that are here with us that want to share their true heart essence also. It's a beautiful thing. But it's to remember that there's so many ways for me that I would share this, my heart, this kind of message from the heart. And I was like, I don't have a mind control satellite television system, but I have those stars and the moon and the reflection of the sun off the moon and shining on everyone. And I can go the other way, and I know the sun's over there, and I can go from the moon back to the sun and catch everyone over there that the sun is shining on, just to remind me that there's no separation, that like you were sharing, that we're rotating around, but it's just over there. It's around the corner. It's not, the sun is set, the words itself, sunset, sunrise. I used to be like, no, that's really, you can say it, and I can say it now, since we've been de-Phoenician. But if you truly want to look at that picture on just a physical way that they describe it, I'm like, even in the language, they're fucking you up. And so we have a misperception. But doesn't science tell you that? No, actually they don't. And if you want to get clearer, that's a limited perspective. So back to...
Mike, this is Amy again.
Yeah.
And I was thinking about, one of the things that when we talk about this entity called Jesus, no matter what he was called, they say that he did not actually exist when the Council of Nicaea met, and they determined to use this or create this entity called Jesus. Well, I was thinking about what this Jesus supposedly said in the Bible. Whether you believe that it's literal, did he actually exist? Someone existed later called Yehoshua or Yehoshua ben Joseph. So this entity reportedly said, I have conquered the world. I have conquered the world. And, at this emerald table, I can see why that could be said. Because, first of all, Kate has broken down to us and helped us to understand, like me being a student of the Bible for many, many years, of many, many holy texts. But in the Bible in particular, in the beginning it says, in the beginning was the Word. Well, Kate has broken down to us so many things to help us to understand. In the Bible book of Amos, A-M-O-S, it says that in those days, the ancients sat around and played with the viols, V-I-O-L-S. So, since Kate has helped us to understand what we're talking about sound here, and we've been tricked by the spelling, how can we conquer the world unless we understand vowels, or in essence, words? And Scripture says that by our words we create. Scripture also says with our tongue, it says the tongue is a mighty member. It contains both life and death. In ships, or people who work with ships or in boats, I understand that they have a tongue, and they use the tongue of the boat or the rudder or whatever they're called to direct where that boat's going to go, to even turn or whatever. I'm not qualified to speak on that. There are many who are.
This is what I'm sharing about our imagination. So using our words to imagine the world we want to see.
Yes, exactly. So
a world
that's
of
the way
love
we
and heart.
conquer. Yeah, it's a conquering of the world by conquering the word, according to my understanding. First of all, understanding how we've been, the Tower of Babel was mentioned early on in the Bible as to that was where the great separation happened. And what does that mean? It happened to where the people could not speak or understand what each other were saying. So what we're doing here at this Emerald Table, according to my estimation thus far, and I haven't been here very, very long, but I've been here long enough to understand, we're creating a whole new language. We're creating a whole new understanding. Barbara, being a minister of music, self-appointed, I second that with you today, Barbara, bringing in all these songs and bringing in all these lyrics and all these words, and for us to get to look at it in a different way so that we might go about being able one day to say, I have conquered the world. So it's like someone said at the Emerald Table, are we talking about the W-O-R-L-D? Are we talking about the W-H-I-R-L? Same sound. And I know many of you could add many more. I can't recall them right now. So it's so important to us to understand that we're creating every time we speak. And the world, sitting in many, many churches in my lifetime, the fear is so real in organized religion, and everybody's scared. They're afraid to think their way out of there, afraid to reason. Is this person leading me in the direction to which I want to go? And why? Because, I know my people in particular believe, or the particular distinction I came from, that if a person comes in the name of God, you listen. But, these very same people, we were talking about kissing of the feet and everything. My sister took me in order to try to get me back involved in church. She took me to her church, and they washed my feet. And I thought about that act and how humbling that is, and yet at the same time, these very people, while they were saying do not lie, they were lying. When they said do not steal, they were stealing. When they said do not rape, they were raping. Every treaty that was signed, they never kept. So we see that paperwork means nothing. We see that their word means nothing. And you know, Yeshua had been Joseph, this Jesus that we call, said that you die because of your traditions. People die because of their traditions. We learn these traditions and we refuse to let them go, even when we find they do not apply and they do not serve. And if they do, they only serve selfish interests. If it doesn't serve everybody, is it really service? And so, you know, yeah, we all sold our soul, Barbara, to the company store. If we continue to believe and to live as we have, and that is just like sheeple. No wonder the Christian church says you must be sheep, and they had a shepherd, and you know they showed always when they show this Jesus, he always had that big shepherd's. I can't remember that thing. But you know what it is, what I'm talking about. And studying, and there's a book called The 9 Faces of Christ that was very helpful in me understanding what exactly is going on this planet in terms of the ancient ones and how they hid these things so that ordinary people who were not able to handle or understand the deep things of God would not be able to get there. So they put a piece over here and they put a piece over there, and there's a piece hidden everywhere. And this Jesus or this Yehoshua said, according to my understanding, broad and spacious is the road that leads off into destruction, and many are on it. But tight and cramped is the road that leads to life, and few find it. So to me, that means I have to be searching, actively looking for it. And many years I've done that, and I thought I would find it in church. I thought I would find it in, law enforcement. I thought I could really change the world, show people that what kind of life we could do, be, and have. And now I humbly sit at this emerald table knowing I don't have any answers, but I know as a group we do. It's hidden in all of us.
You found it right here at this emerald table. What you have been looking for is right here. You found it with Kate and Mike. Yep. I hear you, Amy. You're telling so much truth.
Yes, for real. They mind fucked us real good, didn't they? You don't even, you scared to think correctly. Like, no, that must not be right. I'm not, I haven't been taught that. So, people just stay into that crazy mindset until you just finally have anxiety attacks, and you got to go one way or the other after that. Like, yes, it's crazy. They really did a great job.
Yeah, they did. But their time is up.
We got Kate to put their loving arms around us and rescue us from all that harm and pain. We don't have to worry anymore. We got a sister, a brother, a mother. Kate fits all.
That's right. We are blessed.
We are blessed.
Elvita, what was that post you shared the other day? It was a short, brief one, and I wrote "pow" to it back at you. It was right on the lines of what you were just sharing, but it was just like, through this calling me crazy, you made one tough motherfucker.
Oh, yeah. That's right. Yeah, through all that bullshit they gave us, and when we all are out of it now, we some tough-ass motherfuckers. Y'all can't come in here and brainwash our ass no more,
Yeah, we created it well. That's right.
That's right. Y'all made us tough, and we here, and we going to rescue the rest of us,
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah, beautiful sharing, yeah.
And I was like, okay, do I want to use that word? And I was just like, yeah, that word fits.
Yeah. Right. Ooh.
What we went through.
We are so blessed, though. We are blessed because, we could look back at the sheeple and how they're so confused and believing that crazy nonsense. And, all we can do is just share the word, and it's up to them to take it in or, whatever. But like I said, I know it causes anxiety. I didn't grow up in a religious family, thank God. We never had a Bible in our house. So I never read the Bible, till I tried to read it when I got older, but it didn't register with me. Nothing in it made sense. So I said, I'll put this down, and I just got self-help books. And, that helped me because I was going through anxiety after my last kid, and I was like, what the hell is going on? What is wrong with me? You had a panic attack. So I went to see a psychiatrist, and she said, she asked me questions, and I just broke down and started crying, crying. But she wasn't no help. I left out of it. I said, oh, I'm in trouble now. I'm like, you got to fend for yourself, so myself, my higher self, like, you got to do this on your own because she don't have a clue, what's going on, and I'm going to put her in the category of all the rest of the crazy psychiatrists. And I just took matters into my own hand, and I went to the library and read up on stuff, and I came through it, on my own. So, yes, that was about 30 years ago. So, but we got this. We got this all day, every day, everywhere, present now. Yep, we did it.
Happy New now, yeah.
Yeah.
And this is tuning into, and this is what I like about Max Egan in the Crow House, is that he'll share a worldview. He'll share a literal view of the world, and he'll bring it on home again, and just like Kate, just like we do here with the Emerald Table. We bring it on home to remember where the power is, and then one day, this world will change. This ain't some gradual linear time thing. It's already been doing that. It's been Earth Day, Earth Day, Earth Day, Earth Day every day you woke up. Wake up.
Every day. When you wake up on Jupiter Day. So every day is wherever you are. It's
always Earth Day. And this is the no time. This is where, as we say, we don't even play the, we're no longer, when we tune in the heart, and you tune it all in, and this is where, when the planets are your organs, the chakras are your glands, and you got them all clean, your mind's in balance, your ego is in its place, you see this harmony, you're no longer, in a way, wobbling like we see the outside. Oh yeah, the earth wobbles at this, we have the seasons, and so as you look at this from other perspectives, and you see inside yourself this same as without, so within, and you tune this in, and you tune into outside, you tune more into the no time. You recognize, yeah, we're rotating around the sun. Wait a second, what's this day-night thing? And you're going out of this, the way the universe is usually described. You're going out of that program of description, and you're tuning into other ways, other books, other ways it's been shared. Some people, and I've met quite a lot of them, read no books, had no internet. They're just getting it from experience and just tuning in themselves.
Can I second that, Michael?
Yes.
Aloha, everyone.
Aloha.
Is that I think I know Alvida's voice and Barbara's, and I heard Amy, and was it Janet that I was hearing? That beautiful laugh. And Michael, and I wanted to point out what you just said. I wanted to second that again. It's what Amy was saying, and I listened to her on from the archive from the other night when she presented. I think that's the lady that was the policeman or policewoman in the
Yes.
Jehovah's Witness. And the comment that she made, I came from a similar background, not Jehovah's Witness, but what struck me when she mentioned that about the when someone comes in the name of Jesus, you were to listen, the teaching. But then tie it back to what Michael says, and what for me is the bottom line. It's like you can go anywhere in nature and observe real creation or living creation that isn't overlaid with man's lies, except or with all the dead stuff and the lies, except where you accept those labels. But if you go and you can actually spend that time in nature, that's why we become and feel so connected and feel that love, not only for nature, but the harmony of the all and the one within us. And it's that connection where we find the truth and where we can discern the truth. We can listen and look in books, and we can see things that are pointing to truth, and we can recognize that. But all we have to do is kind of go and compare it, or actually get it from the nature itself. We could, and I haven't done this, and it sounds like you have, Michael, to some degree, but we can actually go to the moon and commune with it and ask the moon what is it or how it relates to us. And, I tend to, from my perspective at this point, see that it maybe is just a reflection of light, and it's not a living thing. But I don't know that it's not. I haven't actually talked to it to find out from it. We hear what other people say. But anyway, I just wanted to point that out and encourage her, and everyone to what you said, Michael, is straight on. It's inside. It's that connection. It's that knowing that we get from being in communication with that. And what everyone else said, I agree with all. Thank you.
Beautiful. Yeah, this is the Heart Resonance. This is the Emerald Table we're all tuning in with. It's, wow, yeah. Much thanks here, man, for all, too. This is where, no, excuse me, seeing the colors change on the horizon. This is where we're no longer seeing from a dualistic mindset. And when we're no longer seeing from a dualistic mindset, you see it's a completely different world. And now we're describing that world. We're empowering that imagination and sharing, yeah, we live like this. That's the living. Many have pointed this way to remember, and we've been so caught up in, what do you mean living? Going to work, buying stuff, and doing that. No. Take all that aside. What you're living, and generally we'll come right back to that. And I'm like, no, that there's a baseline you're missing. So, what part are you living? Now, what did you use the food for? Eating. What did you use the work for, money for? To spend time with my family. Okay, even now it's limited now because you spent the day working. Okay, and I'm not blaming, I'm just showing the trade-off there. And then, okay, what else did you do for living? You told me that I wasn't living, but you were living. I was just sitting on the beach or on the mountain, not living, but you were. Okay, what are the other things you told me you were doing that were living? And they're stumped.
Right, because they're not living, they're existing. You're living, sitting on the beach doing nothing. As Walter Russell teaches, peace, be still. I could not get to that being a bull, always wanting to go through the China store, rambling. But then I go back and I listen to Walter Russell because I'm puzzled with, he keeps saying, peace, be still. And he was a genius. He could do everything good. But then his whole message was be still, be still. And then we look at the waters where you are, Mike, and Hawaii, how you could see. You told us the other night about how the moon affected the water. And like when it was new, that it's more real silent and more stillful. But when it's full, you said you could see the action of the water rippling up, being pulled by, from the tide of the moon. So, yes, I am still working on that peace, be still thing that Walter Russell keeps emphasizing, that we can really accomplish a lot if we could stay in that type of mind frame.
So I'll share a little story. When I first arrived here in the heart of Aloha, I was drawn finally to come out east and to watch the sunrise, to be with the sun when it's so-called rise. To be with the sun when we rotated around, or just, and then it goes to another level where I was tuning in with it's not even a question of rising and rotating. And if you have the moment to go out and do this, I played this, man. I've had this experience many times. Because I've experienced a lot of sunrises where the sun waited for me. The earth didn't rotate around. If I want to relate it on that physical level, and you can say, Mike, what do you mean? And I was just like, didn't it rise at the same time? I'm like, no, you could maybe mark it by that, but I'm telling you, we were outside of that. It was days I was late, and now I'm like, oh, fuck, I missed the sun coming on before the horizon. And I'd get to my spot, and I'd be like, hey, where are you? Because I'm talking with them. I'm talking with the earth. I'm talking with the sun. And I'm talking with the moon and Venus. And I'm laughing, and they're like, yeah, we're right here, Mike. I'm like, where? Well, you should have already been, I'm pointing up in the sky. You should already be up here. And boom, just goes over the horizon. Here comes the sun. Ding. And I'm laughing. I'm like, yeah. And I'm like, Mike, you in the moment? I'm in the moment. I sit down and make my mix, light my chiller, smoke. And
I want to start doing that, Mike. Yeah, I want to go out there and start talking. That's cute. Talk to the sun, to the moon, and answer for them, too. You are the one, Mike.
And so I've run on the earth the opposite way. Okay, if we're rotating this way, I got to run this way to keep us from spinning, so the sun doesn't come up, so we don't get the sun, because I haven't made it to my spot yet. I'm running to my spot. I'm like, oh fuck, I'm late. And I'm like, and they're laughing. Man, I can't fly yet. I'm on a little moped or something on my feet. Different things. I'm on the beach running or climbing up a mountain somewhere. I'm like, I want to fly. and I'm hearing this laughter. And I'm like, Mike, we're right here. All's in tune. And like, why are you trying to get the earth to rotate the other way around? I'm like, because the sun's you're gonna rise in a moment. We're rising. I'm not. Oh, it's so funny. So yeah, maybe you'll see this in your remembrances one day. Maybe you were doing something quite similar, running next to me, having a laugh one day.
Beautiful, Mike.
And so we have this intimate relationship. We all do. And so into this moment, and this is where I was coming to, where we share the dream. This is the true dreaming. Where's Gaia Sophia dreaming? There's part of this dreaming that we're in, that when we tune into this, this is what always got me when I heard about the Dreamtime. And I started experiencing that knowledge and truth. And it came to me. And I was like, okay, I can't look at what you called reality anymore the way everyone else is. That program's shattered. Ooh. Out of question of a doubt. Was Mike Superman now? Was Mike Jesus or God? Because now, heck no. But I watch many people go on that trip. We get a little enlightenment, and we all go a little crazy. But in that craziness, we found more sanity. It was weird. That's why it's like I came back insane in the membrane. I was just like, hey man, who's singing that? Wow, yes, boom. Those guys know about smoking. Oh, Mike, you better believe it. I said, all right, man. Oh, man, I left. And so this dynamic we were experiencing, where as we came back into the so-called system where people were still living, and we'd share the idea that you're crazy was generally the consensus reality, and that has turned inside out, flipped on its side, and most people, if you, of course, have a heart-to-heart with them, the truth of the matter, the truth of all that is going to shine and come out, because it's here. And this is what is, the field is getting cleared. Love is just being, that's what's growing this spring, people. Love everywhere, in every shoot, blade of grass, bud, leaf, every which way. And if you're in the down under and you're experiencing some type of fall, you're experiencing it in the way you guys know that autumn is replenishing in another way. It's completing the cycle. So in this way, we know the earth is always, they say we have 4 seasons. Earth is always experiencing those 4 seasons at once. So again, don't give me this time thing. Mike, but where you live, well, no, I live in Hawaii. We don't have those seasons again. And the way you tune into time here it's much more universal, and it's much more slow. You can experience some of it over there, some parts of the islands where it gets a little busier. But I've had this other experience in 2 ways of living here to open my eyes, my heart. And so if you can imagine the earth, well, she's winter in some places at the moment. She's spring in others, summer in other part, fall in spring. And you can go to different parts of the earth to know that all the experiences experienced at once. And if you lived in Texas and probably some other places, you know that you can experience all 4 seasons in one day. Sleet, ice, rain, heat, extreme heat. It's funny. You've had those, and it seems quite funny where everyone goes, yeah, I've had that experience where we had, people are still snowing in the main, on Turtle Island. It's still snowing in the mainland in some places. I'm like, guys, don't talk about climate change and whatever dynamic they're disconnecting you from the earth this way. It's man-made. It's caused by this, and it's just they will never. If you talk to any of those guys in the dynamic, is Earth a living being that is actually determine what happens on her? They would be like, what? And I'm like, okay, yeah, and you call us crazy? I'm like, do you realize where you're standing? So that's shattered. Bang. Mind gone.
Aloha.
Aloha.
Aloha, everyone.
Hi. Aloha.
Hi,
So just Colleen,
hello.
projection. I'll call it a projection, but the sharing of the heart. This with the dreaming. How we truly want to see and be in the world. That's the world we create. And so many times our minds are focused on something else, our attention is focused on something else, and we forget that dream we've had since we were young, since we were smaller. I'll call it. I don't want to terms it younger or older. When we were smaller, we're timeless beings. When we were smaller, we had this remembrance of how the world lived in peace and love and harmony, in wholeness, and sharing. And we're like, guys, this is the one we needed to hold on to and remember and start really going, yeah, Mike, what's the world like for you? Yeah, it's a world where everyone lives in love. Mike, whatever. And I'm like, well, you can, that's the one I'm envisioning, brother and sisters. Well, Mike, but the world looks like this. This is going on. Yep. And which one do you want to focus on? The one I'm sharing or that one you're already disenchanted with? That easy. It is that easy.
I'm here in my office outside, right, grounding with Gaia and drinking my cup of coffee, listening to all the beautiful truth. But, you know, the synchronicities, the coffee that I'm drinking is called Organic Gaia.
Oh, okay. All righty.
Everything in wholeness and balance, right?
Yeah.
My morning coffee. But, Mike, I was just listening to all of you. It's just beautiful, kind of in a kind of a deep space this morning. So it's just been beautiful to listen to all of your beautiful truth. And I just wanted to say, Mike, when you're talking about the sun and that experience, how the sun waited for you, it's just a beautiful example of how we are creating and manifesting our world, each one of us. And to share that sometimes is overwhelming to some people because they just, you know, it's difficult for them to imagine that they are their creator of their world. And it really makes sense if you go, you know, to the mind of it's not reality anymore, right, Mike? It's that actuality. And if you think about, everyone has different experiences in this world, and we all, even just coming here to the table and sharing, well, how can that be? We're all here on this earth together, and each one of us brings a different experience. That's because we're each creating our own little world within this huge world. And the
wow.
Yeah, and the shared dreaming we're in.
Yes.
That world we're all in, which someone would call the collective consciousness or the collective unconscious, or the old paradigm. The old, I keep calling it old because when I recognize it as game over, I'm like, it ain't, to me, living. It's old. It's the dead fictional reality. And it's still the overlay. It's still the overlay that we can tune into and play out these old belief systems and limiting thought patterns. And what we're sharing now is through that, we're sharing a new dream for people to tune into. And this new dream is, it's not new, it's the one they know in their heart. And so that's the one, that's the frequency everyone's going to start tuning back into. Instead of their mind catching, for example, 523 on the dial, you know, they're catching the heart. Instead of catching Disney, ABC, Star, TV, whatever the fuck, they're tuning into their heart, and in tuning into their hearts, we're having this natural resonance with truth, natural resonance with the being we are all sharing the dreaming with, and, well, people start hearing they will recognize their third eye is open and their third ear is open. How Kate's sharing, you see with your ears and you hear with your eyes. This transcendence of our senses. You could call it super senses, or heightened awareness, heightened senses. It's also a way to looking as, recognizing your supreme beingness. And in this,
yes, beingness, right, and not doingness.
Well, there's plenty to do here. There's action, and this is what Mark Passio brings so beautifully, that this wisdom that Gaia Sophia is sharing, this is accepting truth and accepting this, and then sharing that. That's action. Again, if I'm just sitting in a cave being and not sharing this truth, it's to naught. It's to naught.
And Mike, you answered the growth pattern. When you answered our growth pattern, when you told us that spirituality, with me feeling that spirituality to me means reality, and when you say that we grow from reality to actuality, shows the action being done, where we're not just sitting idle, talking a good game. We're actually working out this good game.
So, and part of that action of being is that you're resonating it, and you remember your connection with all, and you're tuning into that and sharing in a way. That's like, wow, that's super action.
Yeah. It's not necessarily meaning doing. Because for me, in my experience, being,
you're transmitting.
Yes, it's once again what you're vibrating and matching out in the world, and what you're manifesting.
That's so true. And so yesterday, I got a call from my daughter. She sounded a little stressed. I'm like, "What's wrong?" And she said, I got up this morning and her water was turned off. And I was like, oh, wow. I said, I can't help you, So we just talking. And I happened to look at the clock, and it was 11:11. So I said, it's 11:11. You better make a wish. And I said, well, I command that your water get turned back on now, And within an hour later, her water was back on. So we willed the power, y'all. We got this.
Yeah, the universe takes care of you. Yeah, that's awesome. Nice.
I don't know how that. Well, I know how it happened, but just say we can control our universe. We can do this. We can do it. Let's believe.
We do.
We are that we have the power.
And you did that from a place of love.
Yeah.
So then it flows.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's what
that shows us that we don't have total control of everything that happens in our life. That is evident right then and there, that we do not have total. The universe does work with us, as we have been telling ourselves. That's evident that it does. And I deal with the Trinity on a daily basis. Like today is the 23rd, so every day I think 23rd. I think of Jim Carrey. He's the one who turned me on the numerology. I acted a fool and saw that movie called 23rd, and I've never been so shocked in my life. That blew my mind. I could not imagine Jim Carrey.
23rd. That's the name of the movie.
Girl, I just put you in a state of shock. That's all. Jim Carrey made my hair stand up thinking about Jim Carrey. As silly as he is, Jim Carrey.
He's up to life, though.
Oh, he's the natural truth. I love him dearly. If I had a man of my choice, if I could decide my own man, I would marry that Ace Ventura. That man, I really love that. That Ace Ventura was my guy. I could do a lifetime with a man like that.
Yeah, that's so right. Beautiful, Barbara. Yeah.
So we got about 5 minutes left in the show. Not left in the tuning. Critical Mass's free app is now available for Android and iTunes. You can get it at criticalmassradio.co.uk. Look under the chat box for the app link. So that's another way. Thank you, Paul Giovanni, for us to tune in with all. Well, we're still... Well, this is something I thought of again. we, whatever it may be, we are recognizing it as tools that we can use for, you could say, positive, or we can be at effect to them. And this is whatever it may be, a computer, a car, money while it's still around, a hammer, a saw. I mean, it can be used for something that assists you or something that causes you harm. And and what's coming clear for me is that, well, I'm not paranoid. There was some paranoia around technology. And whether with the mind control that you see through like Matrix movies and the way we describe it in many ways, the way we played with the dead fictional reality and programs that were run there.
But you're thinking about Peter, Paul, and Mary when you talk about if you had a hammer. If you had a hammer, you hammer in the morning. Mike, you got the girls and guys out. Peter, Paul, and Mary. If I had a hammer. That's your cousin, Mike?
I don't know. Yeah, you're all cousins. So I was bringing it somewhere, and I was reminded of well, it's just a little confusing for me. That's why it's not so easy to express. And it's daylight here. Sun is rising earlier and earlier. And I remember it's just like as our sun is rising in our own, our light is shining. This is what we're doing. We are becoming that external sun and shining. We have an internal one. And this is shining more and more now. And with this, we know the old paradigm fades away. That shadow no longer can cloud anyone's judgment, truth, or reality, or actuality. It's no longer overlaying and playing with themselves. And so when you shine this from here, you have a new projection into consciousness, so to say. And in terms of the reality, in which we'll call the unreality, the old paradigm that we're playing in, that still seems to exist for a little while longer, we know in our hearts we say, shine on, shine on. Shine on, you crazy diamond. You shine this heart center from this core like Green Lantern. You shine from the center of your being. It's green love. And then you check it out. Check out the movie now. Check out the living, the real actualities that starts just unfolding. Doesn't even describe the way this arises, the way this it's beautiful. And this projection it's not even a projection from the heart. It's almost like you're tuning in with the actuality. And you realize in this is the dominant frequency. This is the vibrational. It's just the shadow world, the nether world where we played out this game of separation is no longer. And that includes all the way we externalized ourselves. And this is what is happening. So as you sometimes see the old paradigm rear its ugly head, so to say, no, that's just the shadow fading. And that's just in a way, just an intensity of the shadow as it is getting fading. It gets smaller and smaller in a way as that vibrational frequency is tuned basically out of existence. It's no longer one you can share here. So there's no longer sharing of the fear. Fear energy is gone. You're now tuned in with love, and that's where we come from. That's where we are. That's what is. So thank you all for tuning in with Gaia Sophia Dreaming. Emerald Table every day. Rollover is going to be in about 9 seconds. So much love, much all. Those staying on the line will keep going. Aloha.
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 Anyone else like to chime in? Please do. I might run down to the jump in my spaceship that's still grounded to the Earth at the moment, before I can fly like Chitty Chitty Bang Bang or Herbie the Love Bug. Or I got my car yellow like Bumblebee. I'll get in there. I'll go fly. All right, not yet.
Doing your Dick Van Dyke, huh? You know Dick Van Dyke is Jim Carrey's daddy. As silly as they are.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so we got beautiful. Thank you all. Yeah. Anyone else like to chime in? Please do. And with that, much aloha. Come to the Emerald Table every day, outside the box, K to Gaia, and all of me, all of you, all of us in our hearts. Thank you. Much aloha.
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 Thank you, everyone.